Kia ora and welcome to Sew Knit Create and Repeat, episode 20 something. My name is Carla. I'm coming to you from the east coast of the North Island of Aotearoa, New Zealand. And today is the 25th of November 2023. And we're in the middle of a heavy rain event. Yay! Oh, I'm sorry. I know it's been a while. All month I've been like, right, got a podcast. And it's like one of those things, when you first begin podcasting, you do it on a whim. You just grab your camera, grab a few things and start talking. And then once you start getting into it, it becomes a thing. And you actually have to have all the stars and moons aligning in the perfect place for you to be able to do a podcast. So anyway, here I am. Just before I'm about to start Vlogmas. So it's just after 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I've had a massive morning of housework. You'll see the chaos behind me. It is actually clean now, but there's a lot of stuff that needs to be put away and sorted out. I purchased a new fridge and it arrived on Thursday. So the old one is just there and I've just had to give it a good scrub out and clean out. We'll pop it out the back and sorry, I've got a bit of a froggy throat too. Evan can probably take it. I think he wants to take it to work, but in the interim we might use it over the summer for excess food. But anyway, I'm going to just run you through some of the things that I've been up to this month and also through October. And yeah, get ourselves all prepared for the next month ahead. I've written a list. So, first thing was I did remember to actually check what it was called because it just went straight out of my head. Because it's actually really quite cold at the moment, I had to put a jersey on. This is the Tea pullover by Hohi Locatelli. It's spelled T-I-I. And I knitted this with 2 strands of fingering held together. Although it's probably quite heavy fingering, so it's probably ended up thicker than a DK, but it's really warm and cozy, so that's fine. Oh yeah, you'll have to excuse me. I'm just so. Let me just. Sorry, I had to just blow my nose. It was ridiculous. Right, so the first thing I have finished is my Boronia cardigan, which the pattern is from Ambah O'Brien, and I started this during Vlogtober, and I knitted it using my hand-dyed, hand-spun. And it was a bit of a very different thing for me because there's so many bright colours, and I love bright colours, but I don't typically wear bright colours. But I got brave. I just wanted to use all the odds and ends and small balls of spinning that I'd done in the last year. And it's now complete. So I'm going to show it to you. I do have some pictures of it on Instagram of me wearing them. Oh, I'm so sorry. I will put those, I'll grab one and chuck it on here. But this is what we're looking at. And it's blocked out beautifully. And I do love it. I wore it over, we had a day which it wasn't freezing cold, but it was too cool to be just wearing short sleeves. So I just wore like a singlet, camisole, black camisole underneath and a black skirt, and wore this over it when I went for a staff lunch. So yeah, here's the back. And now the buttons are some of the buttons that I bought from AliExpress quite a few months ago. And they're all different. They're all different colours. All different. They're in the same packet, but there's different pictures, patterns on them. Oh, my brain. Really easy pattern to follow. This is the first pattern of Ambah's that I have done. I didn't have any issues. There weren't any sort of moments of, oh, what am I doing? Yeah, really enjoyable. I feel like the sleeves took a lot longer than the body. But then when you think about actually how much knitting is in these sleeves, yeah, they would have taken longer than the body. And I'm really, really happy with it. I've had a lot of compliments about it. So that is my Boronia cardigan, designed by Ambah O'Brien. There you go. So there's one. The other things that I'm going to talk about are sewing. I don't have them with me because they're in the wash. So there is the Harper Tunic. So I know I've taken a photo of it on. So I sent it to a friend. So I'll insert that clip here or here. I've made it with a linen blend. And yeah, it's really nice. Very simple, very easy pattern to make. And that is a design by Suzanne Studio. She designed the Clyde jumpsuit, which I also have the pattern for, and I haven't made it yet, and that was quite a famous one. She also, so I could be wrong, but I think you could buy the clothes from her, and then I think she ended up releasing patterns or something like that. But anyway, so there's that one. And the next one is the Dunedin Dugarees. Now, I really wanted a pair of dungarees, just popped into my head. And a couple of weeks ago when I was going to the she shed, I'd been frantically trying to finish that cardigan so I could wear the cardigan to an arty-farty event. And it wasn't going to happen. So on the Saturday, I made the dungarees so that I had something new to wear. They're made with a stretch cotton suit, like pant, like, something that you would use for trousers or whatever. I really love them. They're so comfortable. I'm definitely going to make more of those. At the moment, because you've got quite a few different options to how you tie the straps. You can tie them, you can have the buckles, buttons, what have you. And of course I didn't have any hardware with me and I didn't want buttons, so I just tied them and I'm happy with that for now. So yeah, so there's those, and I also have a picture which would have been here or here that I sent to my friend. Sorry that it's a bit slightly dodgy. You know what it's like trying to take pictures in your mirror, long mirror selfie. Sorry, my top is just like keeps, I think it's because of the way I'm sitting, keeps wanting, that's better. I feel like I'm getting strangled. And there was one more thing that I made, which I have with me. It's a bit crumpled because I wore it a couple of days ago and it's just been kind of strewn across the little couch in my bedroom. And it is the Joan Woven top by Style Arc. Now, I've modified it because I actually went on there specifically looking for a bodice that I could use to make a top that I saw someone at work wearing. It was a store-bought one, but it had a really nice ruffle on the sleeve. So I've modified this to add a ruffle to the sleeve, and this is pure linen, which I bought from the fabric store. It was really cheap. It was only $10 a metre. It was marked as seconds, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's covered in mohair, and I'll explain why there's so much mohair on me at the moment. There you go. It's got a high-low front. It's actually got a bit of toothpaste or food on there. I'll have to wash it. I thought I could get away with wearing it again. I might be able to spot clean it. Yeah, so I just added these ruffles on there. And to help, because you're supposed to tack the facing down, I thought I would just add a little feature back there I just put a little cross. I don't know if you can see that. So it's oversized, drapey, very nice, lovely and cool. And yeah. And what I was going to say, $10 a metre, seconds, it's supposed to be seconds linen, which might have like faults, slubs and stuff. Honestly, this is better quality linen than some that I've spent more than that. So normally you'd pay around $40 a metre for linen in New Zealand. So yeah, here's that one. So those are all all my finished things. Oh, I still got some coffee in my cup. Oh, a little bit. That's something to wet my whistle, as my nanny used to say. This is actually the notebook that I use for paperwork, but anyway. So now we'll go to whips. So I had been also working on, I am so sorry. Oops. My woolen pine Ponderosa. Because yes, I finished the top, as you would have known. Ah, no! I'm halfway through a row. But anyway, this is how far I've got with the back. So it'll give you an idea. So I just potter away at this whenever I want to do mindless knitting. However, I'm doing a test knit at the moment, so I have put this aside. And I'll talk about that very shortly. So that's as far as we've got with that one. I've done a few more rounds on my Vial sand socks, but yeah, I haven't done any more of that. I also cast on a new project during Vlogtober. Oops, I just dropped a ball there. Pop that in there. I might just tie that corner off. Yes, there's a hole in this organza bag, and you'll find out about the big moth that attacked my mohair very shortly. Big moth called Digger. I'll try not in that. Right, so this is, oh, shivers, God. You know, I really wanted to say another word when I said that, eh? Right, won't show you that. That's the chart. Right, so I cast on the Bifurca vest by Teti's Knit Garden, or Teti Lutsak. I can never say her name properly. I'm just going to fold back so you can see what her picture looks like. There she is. She's a beautiful lady. If you haven't seen her designs before, I highly recommend checking them out. Her aesthetic is, oh my God, I've turned into one of those people that have said, oh, I love their aesthetic. But anyway, so I spun up some yarn specifically for the colourwork section of this. So that's my spin. And this, oh, and this is the main colour, which has got like little bits, a halo of those kind of colours in it anyway. This is, I've lost the ball beams, from Skeins anyway, here in New Zealand. Was it like was it Southland Heather? Something like that. And this is what I've got. I'll show you. I just have the needle like that so that my stitch markers don't get lost. Where are we? What I'll do is I'll pop that back in there. I do that just to stop, you know, because it's just a warning, you're not going to really be able to see the pattern much until, well, this is my theory anyway, until I've knitted a lot more of the main colour and can hold it up stretched out. The light in here is terrible too. Sorry, I've got overhead light on. But yeah, so anyway, you're going to get the idea anyway. that. I'll show you at the, yeah, so you can kind of get an idea when you see that's at the bottom, top, the back there, and this is the front here. I'll show you the front. So that's what the front will look like there. Like that. Can you see that? Probably not. Anyway, so that's as far as I've got with that. That's all right, that'll keep. So that's just in my basket over here. And I've got the pattern and I've got the chart. So I'll pop those back in there. So they're living in that basket because they ain't going nowhere. I've also done a fair bit of work on my Battenberg blanket. I'll pull that out to show you. I can't tell you where I was before, but I'm just going to hold it up and show you again just because I can. What's the matter, Digger? You'll have to wait a bit, darling. There you go. So I'm just working across the bottoms now. Come on, Diggy. Come on. You want to come on the camera? You don't want to come on the camera. Yeah, it kind of got sort of stalled for a little while because I've got the white cream patches are an undyed DK, and the skeins have to be washed before you can knit with them, just to bloom them up. So I needed to wash another skein, so that's why I hadn't done any more with that. So that's a little update on that one. Right, test knit. So I don't know how much I can say on here because I haven't actually asked her, but if you know Melinda from Mint Knitwear, she's got a podcast. She's a lovely, lovely girl. She put out a test call for a molar sweater, and I am testing that. I am holding, so that's where the story about the mohair disaster came in. It's a DK sweater, and I'm not telling you anything that she hasn't put publicly on Instagram. And I'll just want to show you the fabric I've got. I'm not going to talk about any design features, but this is the fabric that I've got, and it's just lovely. So I've got gauge with that, and it's actually one strand of this wool that I'm wearing now and a strand of drops mohair. Yeah, so you can imagine my panic when Evan sent me a Snapchat on Thursday, which was the day that I was going to be expecting my fridge to arrive in the afternoon, no less. So what had happened was in the morning I had to go to work. Oh, Evan had to go. He normally takes Digger to work. And he had to go up to forestry, out to the forestry, into the back blocks, into the bush, to do some urgent repair work. And when he does work in the forest, he doesn't take the dog. So normally what will happen is he normally does that kind of work in the afternoon when the crews are finished, and he'll bring Digger home. I'm either already home or I'm at half an hour away or an hour away. We don't have the crate for Digger anymore. It was one that I was borrowing from a friend, and we gave him a trial at home here for a couple of nights, and he's been really, really good. We've had to go out for dinner. Mind you, it's nighttime, and he's quite a sleepy dog at nighttime. So, long story short, no, it's not going to be a long story short. It's going to be a long story. We even went to work. He went out to the bush, and then when I went to work, Digger went and hopped on the bed, and he was only supposed to be there for a couple of hours, and then Evan would come back and swing by and get him. Well, Evan was gone for a lot longer than he thought he would be. Sorry, I can just see him chewing something over there. And when Evan got home, he discovered that Digger had found this bag which was full of mohair, had been torn open, and there was just, I've got a photo I'll pop here, just a strewn mess of mohair. And he had also stolen a bobbin from my spinning, a full bobbin off this table beside me, and he chewed that up. So you can see here he has chewed the edges of this. So I've just wound what was on here onto another bobbin because there were a couple of breaks in the yarn. I had to splice it together because I'm working on the second bobbin so that I can ply it. The bobbin's not too buggered. I think what I'm going to do is have a go. I'm going to sand some of it because yeah. So I was a bit gutted, but I also understand he's just a baby and he was left here way too long. We are going to be getting him a kennel and a run for those sort of situations where he needs to be left unattended and needs to be kept safe. So I had one ball each of these colours, and I saved all of the mohair on that. So that's what one ball looks like, wound up tight. This one was untouched. That's another one, right? But the colour I'm using for this top, I had four. I think I had four. So this is 3 balls. So I've got 1, 2, 3, and there's still a fair bit. I'm going to say maybe probably 5 grams, which is quite a lot when you're talking about mohair, that I couldn't save. It was just a mess. So yeah, and there's breaks in these, but mohair's mohair. You can just add it. I'm holding it together with something else, so I'll just have to keep rejoining it. So that was our exciting day. Yes, and so yes, that's the spinning that I've just wonkily wound onto here for when I want to ply. And I had also got into the fibre, but he'd obviously decided that silk merino fibre is probably a bit yucky in your mouth. So, but that's the fibre I'm working with there. I think that white is the silk from the feel of it. Which Evan's mum bought me. It's an Ashford blend, and Evan's mum bought me for Christmas last year. So yeah, so I brought that over just to show you. So yes, I'm going to pop that in that basket. What else have I been up to? Let's have a look. What's on my list? Oh, I've been making handmade Christmas presents. So I will do a quick little some photos, and I'll put them here and talk about them here. So I thought I'd make some little homemade Christmas presents just for a few of the ladies in my life that I love to bits, that I thought be like little pamper packs. So I've made little soy candles in jars. I've made a batch of soap, which is curing at the moment. So you can see that here or here. That is a recipe from Tanya of Lovely Greens, who has a YouTube channel. She's cool. I haven't watched her for ages, actually. Just wondering if she's had any new videos out. She does lots of gardening videos. And I added some ground pumice that I purchased from Pure Nature, and just a fragrance oil. I didn't put any essential oil in it. And also some mica, and it's come out a really, really lovely colour. Yeah, so got those, and then the next things I'm going to make, which I haven't made yet, is I'm going to make some eye pillows, and I think I've got some dried lavender there, and I'm just going to mix that with some rice and put them in some little sewn bags, and they're going to go over here, and I'm going to make one for myself too, because it's actually a really nice feeling, and I've never owned any eye pillows before, but when I've done yoga classes, sometimes they give them to you when you're doing the sort of resty relaxation bit at the end, and it just feels so nice. Oh yeah, so that's my handmade Christmas ideas. So that's pretty much all I've been up to craft wise. A lot of sewing. I've got one more dress I'd really like to make before the end of the school year, which is the 12th of December, because I'd like to wear that to our breakup, but you'll see that if you watch Vlogmas, you'll see me make that. Yeah, so I've got a new fridge, which you can't see because the old one's in the way. I do have some sad news, which, yeah, it's quite awkward to talk about, really. So, long story short, I said that again. Why do I repeat myself? Digger killed Lola the chicken. It was about 6 or 7 o'clock at night. We'd had tea. Evan was outside taking a phone call because phone reception at our house is terrible. Digger was running around like a lunatic right around the property. He often does that at that time of night. It's like he's this chill dog all day, and then he has his dinner and he goes nuts for a little bit. Now, the chickens had been getting out for a couple of weeks before this because he kept squashing down their fence to get in to be their friend. Now, when I say be their friend, I mean be their friend. Like, the killing was not a malicious act. It's a very large puppy who basically wanted to play, and chickens are very delicate creatures. Keeps looking at, he wants to go outside. And he shook her. So what happened is he was pushing the fence up, so the little gaps were forming and the girls were able to get out. And I'd said to Evan, I'm going to go and get some brush stick fencing and put it around the chicken wire and just fortify it so he can stop doing that. And because my worry was the chickens were going to get out and the gate would be open one day and they'd get squashed. I wasn't worried about him around them because, like I said, he gets into the coop. He's not really interested. He walks around them. He just wants to see what's going on. And when they're out, he just sort of walks around with them, gives them a sniff, and then carries on, you know. But she'd obviously got out, and he was in his crazy playing around, silly, like, you know what puppies are like. And she probably ran, and he chased and caught her and shook her. So Evan heard it, or Evan discovered it. Well, he said he heard something, but he didn't know what because he was focused because it was a business call. And he called me, and I knew something was wrong because he called me Carla, and he never calls me Carla. And he says, oh, mate, I'm really sorry. I think Digger's killed one of your chickens. So I went down the back and, oh, Poor little thing. She was lying there and she was still alive. It was really awful. And I picked her up and cradled her in my arms, and Evan said to me, look, when Digger comes down, he's going to get a blast, okay? He needs to know that this is, so he did that. And so the dog was upset because of that, and I took her inside and I asked Evan to get me a towel. She was still alive, and I wrapped her in the towel, and I just had her in this chair here, and I just swaddled her, and she looked up at me, and then she just, after a couple of minutes, she just closed her eyes and she was gone. Oh, it was really distressing. It was little Lola. And then we went outside. Digger was still hiding around the front. And I felt upset for him too, because I knew he had to get disciplined for this, because we just can't have it happen again. He needs to be scared of the consequences of that. But I also knew there was no malice in his behaviour. Like, I've just never seen any malice in his behaviour with those chickens. But he's an animal. He's not a human, he's an animal. He's also not an adult dog, he's a pup. And we forget that because A, he's huge, and B, he's a very well-behaved dog usually. Hey, darling, yeah, I know I'm talking about you. So Evan dug a hole, and while he was digging a hole, he found some antique bottles. So I was like holding her in the towel going, oh, antique bottles, cool. So I've bought some brush stick fencing. I've reinforced that. He can still get in. So I need to get some more Waratah stakes, and really just because that's just one area where it bows a bit. And I was going to do it on the way home from work yesterday, but it was pouring with rain, and I thought, he's not going to be running around out there this weekend. We might go into town tomorrow and buy some. We'll see how we go. I bought a hosta because I want to create a shade garden underneath those trees. And I planted the hosta over her as like a little memorial for Lola and all the eggs she's given us. And also so I'd know where she was buried, because I'm going to get down there with a probe and look for some more old bottles at some stage. So once there was 4, now there's 3. It was a gutter. It's been a hard couple of weeks, eh, Diggy? Yeah, Jess is away. She's not away, but she's staying in town at the moment. One of her workmates is having some treatment, some cancer treatment, so she's going to be house sitting for him and his wife for the next 7 weeks. So she'll obviously be home grabbing bits and pieces and in and out and that. But yeah, it's been really weird. I feel like I've got an empty nest again, because I had an empty nest for a few years while she was at uni and Jaden had already left home. And then she was back and she never left. Yeah. So that's pretty much about it. So guys, we've got Vlogmas coming up in December. I will be doing Vlogmas. I'm at school till the 12th. And then after that, school holidays start. My sister and her partner are coming up from Wellington for Christmas. My brother and his sons are going to be here from Australia on Boxing Day, I believe. I know that traditionally Vlogmas only goes till Christmas, but I know some people go through to New Year, and I'd like to hopefully go through to New Year. And I have put it to my brother and my sister that maybe they would like to sit down with a glass of wine and beer and answer any questions that you guys might have about us as siblings, life in New Zealand, life growing up where we grew up, funny family stories, whatever. I've got no idea what you'd want to ask them, or if you would like to ask them anything. So I've asked them. My brother's keen. He's actually got a YouTube channel. He doesn't post on there anymore, but you know, he's not afraid of getting on camera. My sister hates being on camera, even though she's been on TV quite a few times for her as a chef. But she hates it. She's kind of said, no, I don't like it, but I reckon I could get a couple of wines in her and have her laughing, because she is an absolute character. She's very like my mum. And she has you and it fits. So have a think, and I will remind you again, we do Vlogmas. Sorry, I've got a fairy, I think it's that mohair, it's gone up my nose. Have a think of anything you'd like to know. Maybe you want to ask some questions about me when I was a kid, like how wonderful I was as a big sister, or anything like that. Yeah. So anyway, podcast done. Yay. This thing hanging over my head, and I look over and I go, oh, I've got to do that. But I'm glad I've got it out of the way. I'm going to take this dog outside for a wee, because I think that's what he really wants. Sorry for the nose scratching. Oh, it's so itchy. And I will catch you all on the 1st of December. Bye.